Let's learn how to talk about professions. The word for work is tapi tama, but we just say tama for short. To ask someone about their job, you can just say nama tama menile. Nama tama menile. What do you do for work? Now you can answer this question in two ways. You can say what you do, or you can tell them what you are, what your job title is. However, note that in Karen, we don't generally talk about being something for work, especially if we can readily identify the verb that is associated with that work. So if the job title is derived from a verb, we just say what we do rather than what we are. It's easier that way. For example, let's say you're a photographer. Instead of saying, I am a photographer, one who takes pictures, you can just say, I take pictures. And instead of saying, I am a driver, you can just say, I drive. People who work in factories will generally tell you where they work rather than what they do for work. Maybe this is because there are many stations at a factory line that you might be doing different things. So there's not one verb that captures the job. So to say I work somewhere, you just say Yamatala, Yamatamala, and the name of the company. For example, you can say Yamatamala Amazon. I work at Amazon. The ma here is optional. Now to ask where they work, you can say Namatama Pele. You work where? Namatama Pele. Where do you work? So then when do we use our job titles? Like to say what we are, right? As far as I can tell, we tend to use our job titles when we can't find a verb that describes that job, or when the job seems or when that job seems prestigious. Let me give you some examples. First, let's take a look at this word. Tharathama. Tharathama. This word describes those who impart knowledge or wisdom. Basically teachers. For short, we use thara to mean teacher. And if it is a female teacher, we put the female marker mu and say tharamu. You can add other nouns in front of thara or tharamu to be more specific. If it's not specified, we usually just assume that it means school teacher. But it's always good to be specific when you're learning. So if you ask a school teacher what they do for work, they will reply with Yake jo tharamu. I am a school teacher, female. Now, a pastor would say Yake taupo thra. Yake taupo thra. And a doctor would say Yake kathi thra. Yake kathi thra. Other prestigious titles are like lawyers, poro, judges, sinyokwa, and missionaries. I guess technically, missionary falls under the Tharathama category because they be preaching and teaching the gospel. Now, to ask a child what they want to become when they get older, you can ask in two ways. But first, let's preface the question with Nano midurane. Right? So when you become older or bigger, Needo geto munile. Needo ge munile. What do you want to become? Or you can ask Nano midurane Needo ma munile. What do you want to do? Needo ma munile. They'll reply with Yeedo ge and whatever they want to be, or Yeedo with the verb that, tells you what they want to do. So for example, they might say, Yeedo geto, or Yeedo ge fiko. I want to be a military officer. Or they might say, Yeedo mata mala fikla. I want to work in the military. So you can answer as what you want to do or what you're going to be, depending on what that being is, right? Depending on what that title is. So let me ask you. Neda, for you, needo keto manile. Or, if you already have a job and profession, namatama manile. So now you know how to talk about professions. Tablet.